Hi guys, I just wanted to do a quick walk around of my 2015 Nissan Micra S, which should stand for super basic. Now, this should be interesting for you folks in the States because you're one of the few countries they actually don't sell this car in. They do sell it up here in Canada. A few differences than everywhere else in the world. Up in Canada, we actually get a sway bar. Ooh, lucky us. And we get 15-inch rims. And that's about it. Oh yes, and the rear seat folds on the Canadian models. This is a 2015. I bought it in 2016, but I did buy it brand new. There was a deal at the Montreal Auto Show. Anyway, in US dollars, brand new, this car cost me about $7,000, all said and done. Brand new car. My butt was the first butt in the seat. I am a truck guy, tow my race cars and my demolition derby cars, but this is the best little commuter car I could have ever imagined actually to go to work. I was shopping for about 2010, 2011 Honda Civics, Toyota Corollas, small 4-cylinder cars that would be cheap to get me around. And I was finding them with 50, 60, 70,000 miles for the same price, if not more, as this. I actually have a 100,000 mile bumper to bumper complete warranty. Tires, brakes, clutch, everything. The whole idea of buying this car was it had to start, no matter what the weather, no matter what, had to start to get to work. I chose it in black because I'm not going to go saying it's a nice car, but anyway, the black one was definitely the most attractive of the bunch. They offered a lot of really electric colors, if you will, really bright colors that pop, probably gauged towards the youth market. Comes factory with Firestone 185/60 R15s. Show you the inside. Now this is a absolute base model. Sorry, let me pull out the keys because that will get annoying. Got a 5-speed gearbox. It's a 1.6 liter twin cam engine. And this car weighs pretty much nothing. Pretty basic. You get a gas gauge, an odometer, tach, and a speedometer. They don't believe in temperature gauges, apparently. My Ford actually has a temperature gauge for the transmission and the engine. This one, I guess, can't expect too darn much for the price I paid. Pretty decent room in the back. I have done about a 6-hour drive with 2 adults back there. I'm not going to say their butts weren't numb by the end, but you know, for just bumping my kids around to school and horseback riding and scouting and all that fun stuff, the car really does serve its purpose. Trunk is full of stuff, so I'll apologize, but the seats, they do go down all the way, but I have too much stuff in the car right now. So I have actually surprised myself with what I can fit in this little car. And I haven't had a manual since my early 20s, so for me, it's kind of fun to run through the gears. It's been a long time. The car is actually more fun to drive than one would think. That little 1.6 twin cam, now hold on, I'm not winning any races, but I mean, I can pass on the highway. When I was in high school, I had a Geo Metro for a short time, and I mean, that thing doing 60 miles an hour was almost impossible. This thing, let's just put it this way, you get a lot more car for the same money. I'm just gonna open the hood. You got your hood release and your gas release, which I hate because I open my hood about every second time I put gas in the car. Sorry about the camera angle. Basic. No bells, no whistles. Alternator and starter are right up front. It's a very basic setup. I believe these are the engines that came out of the Sentras a few years ago, maybe even 5-6 years ago. It's really antiquated technology, but it is rock solid reliable. And all I knew is I didn't want a little car with one of those CVT transmissions. I've heard too many stories, and When I drive my sister's Nissan Rogue, it just feels wrong. It's a brand new car and it feels like it's just not shifting right and it's begging for mercy. Now, I have had a few issues with the car. I'm at about 25,000 kilometers, which is roughly about 12,000 miles. I have actually had my rocker panels completely repainted, not by Nissan, because I don't really trust their service department at all. This would actually be the last Nissan I buy. But a few rock chips came up and the paint just started coming off. So I had a body shop near my house that does really good work, redo them properly, and we installed mud flaps, which, by the way, $118 at the dealership. Yeah, apparently that should alleviate some of the rock chips and stuff. So all in all, I mean, I gas this car up twice a month, maybe, and I drive it all the time, and I drive it everywhere. I totally trust the drivetrain on this car because I've had some older Nissans with this drivetrain, and I don't have a word to say about that. I have had to have my front sway bar bushings replaced. Like I said, they only put those on to make them legal for Canada and make them, I guess, up to Canadian vehicle standards. And you can obviously tell it was an afterthought, and I know that I'm gonna have problems with it again in the future because it seems like every 5,000 miles or so those bushings start squeaking again and they need to be replaced. So I guess as long as I have the warranty, it doesn't cost me anything at least, but I'll tell you, it's a pain in the rear to bring the car up to the dealership, especially me. I live out in the country, so I got to drive up to the city every time, and it's just a big hassle. Some other things I'm not impressed with on the car: the wipers didn't even last 1 year. That's right, not 1 year. And to be honest, I bought this and I didn't even drive it all winter. I left it parked in the garage for the winter, and the wipers still 6 months of road use and the squeegee started to peel off. So obviously I didn't go back to the dealership to buy more. I went to the auto parts and bought a better quality one. Or better quality ones, I should say. But if you're looking for a brand new car to put your butt in the seat before anyone else has sat in it, I mean, you really can't go wrong for the money. They had the Mitsubishi, I believe it's Mirage, which was about the same price. And I looked at it, but I don't really like the 3-cylinder engine configuration it has. And you know, not dissing Mitsubishis or anything, but I've never had one, so I kind of don't know what to expect. And Nissan, I guess you're getting the name, right? Would I recommend this car? Absolutely. But what I would warn anyone that's potentially going to buy one is remember that this is a car that's worth what this car is worth. Now, if you find that the interior, the sound, when you're driving, you hear it, you find it loud, or this, that, or the other thing, I mean, you can't complain too much at the price you're paying for the car. And let me tell you something, in a windstorm, hold the steering wheel with both wheels. My other vehicle is a 2014 Ford F-150 XTR 4x4. So it definitely is night and day jumping back from one to the other. But again, like I said, for the money, you really can't complain. So I guess that's pretty much everything there is to show on the vehicle. Like I said, would I recommend one? Yes, but obviously don't expect champagne for your beer money. But I mean, you know, when you get a new car and you have a warranty, you don't really have to worry about doing brakes or tires or anything other than regular old maintenance for the first little while. Nissan also says to do your oil change intervals at something ridiculous like 8,000 kilometers, but the cost benefit of doing an oil change, I just do them every 5,000 clicks. In miles, I guess that works out to about 3,000 miles per oil change. It only takes 3.5 liters of oil, so obviously it's not the most expensive oil change. The air filter is actually $45, and I have no idea why or what's so special about it, but I guess Fram thinks it's worth it. Another note for you viewers here is this car is basically a Nissan Versa with a smaller body. Now, I mean, you have almost an identical dash, almost an identical interior. The suspension components are the exact same. The spindles, the struts, the brakes. Underneath, the whole unibody is the same car. The trickery is you're getting a foot more of trunk space and paying, well, let's be honest, about $5,000 more for it in the end. But this is my first brand new car. Usually I buy them a few years old. But at the price this one was, I mean, it was worth it. I'm usually one to discourage from buying a brand new car because of the value you lose, but heck, a brand new car under 10 grand, I mean, you really can't go wrong. So thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe. This is what I call my year of content. I'm going to be trying to film as many races, as many car reviews as I can, and other random stuff that interests me. So this is Mark signing off. And I hope you all are doing well on the other side of the internet.